Democratic Party doesn't understand the threat they are facing?
Thom, it's utterly mystifying to me. Damn it, our house is burning down. Our democracy is disappearing.
On the line with us, our buddy Joe Walsh, the former Republican congressman from the 8th District of Illinois. He's the host of the podcast, The Social Contract with Joe Walsh. You can find his Substack page. I'm a subscriber. You should be too. It's free. Social Contract with Joe Walsh, WALSH.substack.com. On Blue Sky, it's Walsh Freedom at Blue Sky, and on Twitter as well. Joe, welcome back to the program.
Thom, it's always good to be with you. I respect the hell out of what you do, my friend.
Well, thank you. Back at you. I was kind of blown away by this article on Mediaite and one of the rants on your podcast about how the Democratic Party, I guess the thing that kind of kicked me off is I guess Schumer and Jeffries just sent another strongly worded letter to Trump that the Democratic Party doesn't understand the threat they are facing. Can you explain that?
It's Thom, it's utterly mystifying to me. And again, you know me, former Tea Party guy, only been a Democrat for 3.5 months. But in those 3.5 months, the reaction I've gotten from Democratic voters and grassroots folks has been off the charts. Like it's been, Joe, I disagree with you on Israel and a bunch of issues, but damn it, our house is burning down. Our democracy is disappearing. But then the party establishment, Thom, like the party leadership, has been kind of standoffish, and all of their public statements make it clear that they have no freaking clue about how serious this moment is. And I know it's easy to jump on Schumer's butt because Schumer sounds like he's from back in 1995. But Hakeem Jeffries, would somebody light a fire under him? I wish Nancy Pelosi were 15 years younger and she were still speaker.
Yeah, I get it. We have in the Democratic Party kind of a long tradition of putting people in leadership roles because they're good at raising money, or they're good at the administrative stuff of getting legislation passed. You know, big bills, Medicare, Social Security, food stamps. I mean, all these things. Basically, every piece of the social safety net came out of Democratic legislation, and so that skill set is important. But I remember Lyndon Johnson really well. I'm a bit older than you, Joe, and LBJ was not just a statesman and not just ultimately a progressive. He was the Senate Majority Leader for a while. Not just really good at getting legislation through and raising money, but he knew how to take names and kick ass. He did not suffer fools gladly, and I try not to pick on the Democratic leadership too much on this program because, hey, we've got to hold together. Even, there are Democrats that I really detest, some of their policies. These guys in the so-called Problem Solvers Caucus who are just basically, taking money from corporations left and right, and yet we have to work to keep them in power because, look at the alternative.
And Thom, it's just this utter disconnect. I was out there every day last year campaigning in a battleground state for Kamala Harris. And every single day I would say Donald Trump is a fascist. If he gets elected, he's going to do fascist things. Kamala Harris called him a fascist during the campaign. Joe Biden did. Barack Obama did. And then Trump wins. And it's like the leadership and the establishment of the party dropped all of that. And we're going to try to get along with him. We're going to try to work with him. And Trump, from the moment he was sworn in, every damn day, 100 unconstitutional things, 100 attacks on our founding principles. And the Democrats during the campaign who said he's going to be like this, they were nowhere to be found once he became president. Yeah. And I think that's why grassroots Democratic voters are so disappointed in their leadership.
This is all too familiar to me. You wake up with a scratchy throat, congestion, runny nose, and cough. You know your body. You know you're getting sick, right? Well, what are your choices? Tough it out, get sick, and take time off work? hope the doctor can see you this month, wait 2 hours at urgent care and have people cough all over you, or open your medical emergency kit like mine. I just match my symptoms to the doctor-recommended prescription, start at the right meds, and nip this thing in the bud right now. This is not a first aid kit. It comes with doctor-prescribed meds to treat dozens of common and serious medical issues. Strong antibiotics for infections of all types, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, bronchitis, and a lot more. Plus, a doctor's easy guide so you'll know exactly what to take and when. No waiting to see the doctor, no waiting at the pharmacy. My meds are in my kit. Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit. You're going to get $35 off at urgentcarekit.com/Tom, T-H-O-M, when you check out. That's promo code Tom at urgentcarekit.com/Tom.
Rightly so.
So what, two very specific questions. Number one, what specific threat do you see Donald Trump representing to America? And part two, how should Democratic leadership be responding to it? And in a kind of macro or a micro sense, kind of a third question here, sorry to concatenate these on you, Joe, is, you've got this government shutdown coming in a week. Where do you think the Democrats should be, how should they be gaming that out?
Well, on that one, Tom, easy, don't lift a finger.
Yeah.
You got the White House Republicans, you got the House, you got the Senate, you keep the government open. And it either gets to a point where Republicans can keep it open on their own, or Republicans come to Democrats on their knees and say, we need 2 or 3 or 4 votes in the House. We need your help. In which case, then Democrats have a list of demands. There are smarter people than me. 2 of the demands I'd have is have ICE stand down right now. Get these masked agents off of our streets right now. Either that or all of these rural health facilities and hospitals shutting down. Do something about Medicaid right now. But have a big issue that you're going to hold Republicans hostage for if Republicans have to come.
Or release the Epstein files.
Throw that in there. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Again, that's actually, Tom, that's a big issue.
Yeah.
Because there's something there.
It's like Kimmel. The average person can understand it, right? There's a cover-up going on. This is like Watergate. It was the cover-up, not the crime, that was the big deal.
Again, I think that smarter people than me could have their priority list.
Yeah.
But it's got to be huge. And Democrats don't lift a finger to help keep the government open. Look, you hear it as much as I do. And I know it's this nebulous fight. Like Democratic voters want people who will fight, candidates who will fight. Well, damn it, that is important. Fight outside the box. Do whatever you don't show up. Don't go to the House for a floor. Get out here. Get in your districts. Hold town halls. Wherever ICE is, you go wherever ICE is. Do something.
Yeah, I'm with you. So back to the specific threat. Where do you see Trump taking this country, and how specifically do you see it playing out? I mean, at what point does he come after people like you and me?
Well, he's got people like you and me on a list. I know that.
Yeah.
So we're down the road. Like right now, he's doing what he's doing, going after brown and black people and going after some of his highest ranked political enemies. My biggest fear is, and I call him a fascist because I believe it. We don't have enough time to describe what I mean by that. But my biggest worry is his use of the military. ICE is basically becoming his personal security detail.
Yeah, the SS, the German word that SS stands for was protection detail. And
Yes.
it was Hitler's protection detail. It was the equivalent of the Secret Service kind of thing. Only Trump is turning ICE into America's version of the SS. It sure looks like it to me. And the SS, of course, ran the death camps.
Yeah, they are the most well-funded federal law enforcement agency now in our country's history, thanks to that big, bad, ugly bill. My fear is that because of his tariffs and his deportations, the economy is going to keep underperforming and doing poorly, and next year could look like, on paper, a bad year for Republicans. And my biggest fear, Tom, is Trump is setting the table to use the military on our streets to really mess with or put off the 2026 elections.
Yeah, I am very concerned about that as well. Joe, your party, your former party, the Republican Party, has been aggressively engaging, using this mythology that Democrats are importing brown people into America to vote in elections. It has been knocked down, I mean, since the 60s, the old Project Eagle Eye, Operation Eagle Eye. And this lie about phony voters is being used. Greg Palast did the math, the BBC reporter. He did the math using actual official federal government numbers. 4.2 million people who were legal voters were denied the right to vote in the 2024 election in 7 or 8 swing states. And he said, primarily, and he said if those voters had been allowed to vote, a little more than 2/3 of them were purged from voting lists, many of them because they failed to return a postcard that they've been mailing into black communities that says, we're checking to see that you actually live here. If you do send back the card, it looks like junk mail, so people don't send it back. It's got 3% return rate on these cards. Palast said that had those 4.2 million people been able to vote, you would have Kamala Harris in the White House right now, and you'd have a Democratic House and Senate. What do we do about this? You used to be on the inside here.
Yeah. And Tom, I think you and I have talked about this. The old Joe Walsh, when I would huddle back in the day with my Republican colleagues, they were clear privately that their goal is to make it more difficult for people to vote, period. Because Republicans believe the more people who vote, the worse they will do at the polls. And this still holds true. Even though Trump has kind of changed the dynamic of who's voting for who, Republicans are still all about trying to limit the vote. Maybe, Tom, you just bumped this up to the top of the list.
Yeah.
I don't know of a more important issue than this.
The Constitution says right to vote in 3 or 4 different places. The National Voter Registration Act in 1993 says we have a right to vote. I don't understand why you have to go to a judge to take away somebody's gun, but you can take away somebody's vote without even telling them. I've got 30 seconds to a hard break, Joe. Your thoughts?
I'll give you with this. Because Trump does 1,000 horrible things every day, we missed this one 2 weeks ago. Donald Trump 2 weeks ago put an election denier in charge of election security at DHS. An election denier. So be ready. Trump's going to do everything he can to cheat and everything to try to win in 26. We Democrats got to be ready.
He knows if the Democrats take the House, the investigations will begin, and he is not going to survive that politically.